다음은 디스크라이 김태양 대표님께서 통합적인 정신건강 케어 서비스에 대해서 말씀해 주시겠습니다.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Taeyang Kim, and I'm the CEO of Descry. It's a great honor to be here with you this morning, and especially during these uncertain times. Descry is our company name, and Gideb is our brand, which means lean on me in Korean. I'll begin with a little background about myself. A couple years ago, I moved to Korea from the States and immediately started feeling a lot of pressure and the culture clash. So I asked my small network of friends where I could find some counseling or some mental health treatment options. They responded very surprisingly. They told me, don't ask those kind of questions. You don't want to start off on the wrong foot, or even, there's nothing wrong with you. I came home that night and I told myself not to go against the grain and that it would be stupid of me to ask for help or to even receive help. Then I started thinking about Native Koreans and how isolated they must feel, especially when they don't know any other way. That's when I came up with Gideb, to a platform to increase accessibility to mental health care, raise awareness, and to provide a wellness training for them to live better. When I was asked here to present at K-Dementia, I wasn't sure if our company was the right fit. But our director, who recently lost her grandmother to dementia, urged me to accept. Soon after, I found out why. And let me show you. Here are some issues with mental health, tying in mental health with dementia. Everyone reacts to medication differently. No one wants to be labeled. There are complicating overlapping symptoms. And while mental illness, for the most part, is treatable, dementia is still not. Our solution is to act as a preventative tool to common precursors of dementia, such as depression. Users can write in a daily journal and keep track of their moods, have a personalized chatbot with customized notifications, receive an online wellness training program, partnered with a smart band to keep track of their progress. Our next slide is our business model. Our B2C revenue streams are from subscriptions, and our B2B are from referrals. We also offer a $50 cash back for any of the users that complete their wellness training. We understand these issues may be too big to tackle for a single entity, and that is why we have formed these partnerships. We have an exclusive contract with NAPIMA, a mental health association from the States, and also supported by SAMHSA, to digitally develop their wellness training program. Second is Wellingby, our R&D company, to adapt the wellness program into the Korean culture. Third, MediPlus Solution, who are actually presenting here later today, have graciously decided to work with us and provide smartbands and access to their accredited mobile app. To go into more detail about our partners, NAPIMA has been conducting Achieving Whole Health for about 10 years. They have worked with the elderly through self-help for the elderly in San Francisco, which provide care for approximately 50,000 people yearly. This chart represents the kind of feedback and response from their training. Wellingby, with Dr. Lee Moon-soo, a psychiatrist from Korea University Guro Hospital, and our partner have published many journals in regards to HRV and the correlation to stress. We are currently working together to develop fun new ways to educate wellness, such as gamifying activities. MediPlus Solution, who has had their solutions certified by the KFDA and also the US FDA. Their smartband and app helps users manage their stress, sleep, exercise, and diet. These partnerships couldn't have happened without the help of Korea University Hospital, HBIC. So special thanks goes out to Professor Song Hae-ryung. Thank you. Our market size, which is daunting to think of, is approximately 1/4 of the population. That's about 12.5 million people suffering from mental illness yearly. However, we have narrowed this down to actual paying customers. Our figures come from existing contracts and partnerships, which I'll go over in the next couple of slides. Here's our competition slide. We have Bina AI and BetterHelp, which are companies from the States, and the other two are local. As you can clearly see, a company alone cannot address total care, but we're here to get close. And here's how. Earlier this year, our consortium was granted close to $1 million by the Ministry of Science and ICT. This grant was approved for one reason. Big organizations such as hospitals, credit card, and tax companies have a lot of big data. We proposed to allow sharing of this big data with the consent of users to provide care services, such as for stress and mental health. We are currently in the testing phase and expect to launch later this year. In this process, we are developing algorithms which can later be used by other companies to provide care services. And just last month, we were appointed by the Ministry of Health and Welfare as a social venture. This is a big deal for a startup like ours, because look at all of these benefits. We have employee subsidies to about $1.67 million for 3 years, $270,000 for financial support, and also property support by guaranteeing finance for up to 70% of the property value. And here's our dream team. I have had the privilege of being chair of several self-help groups and facilitated many of them for many years in the States. I think this is why I have such a passion for this movement. Yeonha Lee, an integral piece to our ever-evolving company, was a manager at the UN Volunteers of Korea and a consultant at the Beautiful Store Social Venture. Seung-Suk Ryu, a global engineer who's worked as a consultant at the Swiss World Labor and the UNDP. He's heading our big data analysis. Jaewon Shim, a full-stack developer who's developed dozens of websites, including ours. He's also experienced with AI solutions. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. I'll leave the remaining time for any questions. Thank you.
예, 감사합니다. 예. 디스크라이에서 정신건강 케어에 대한 서비스에 대해서 말씀해 주셨습니다.